with you back in studio with the full duo. Jake Lamont along with Fulton Caster back with you from noon to 3 here on the Sports Voice of Kansas 580 WIVW. Thank you so much for joining us today on a Friday. It does not feel like a Friday at all. At all.
Speak for yourself, brother.
It doesn't feel like a Friday one bit, but we have got a lot to get to today. We took a sabbatical on all Royals talk on Wednesday and Thursday. Not a single word was mentioned about the team that plays at One Royal Way.
It felt pretty good.
We will get into a little Royals baseball today as they start the second half of the season. Does it really matter what they do the rest of the year? I am not kidding you. We will get to that. We will talk a little Chiefs. We'll talk a little reaction and some more thoughts on what KUK State had to say at Big 12 Football Media Days. We've got so much to get to. We're going to talk with Craig Brown on all things Royals baseball. We got a special guest coming up at the bottom of this hour he's a legend here at our radio station. He has worked here for 41 years, and today is his last day. So we are going to bring in he's one of the smartest people I know because he can fix anything. Rick Smith is going to join us. We call him Smitty on the show and Smitty here at the studio. He's got hair that I'm jealous of, and we're going to talk with Rick Smith because he's done a lot. Fun fact, he was the one controlling the Royals radio network back in 1985 when the Royals won the World Series. He's back at the station pushing all the buttons, all that kind of stuff. So he's got a lot of fun stories. We're going to get to Rick Smith as he's retiring after 41 years.
Well-deserved retirement for Smitty.
Incredible.
I just now wonder who we're going to turn to fix all of our random problems that we are not smart enough to figure out.
No, we're going to call him back. And we're going to be like, here's $100. Save us. He just won't have to come in to do it day to day. So we'll get to that. Lots to talk about. As always, let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Very simple, very easy. If you want to get a hold of us, check us out on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. Very simple. Type in Sports on 580. You want to search for it. Very easy. Click the subscribe as you can get all of our videos and everything. It's so simple. And you can check us out on our website, 580 WIVW. It happened yesterday, a little late yesterday, but when will Chris Jones sign his contract extension? We were told from Matt Derrick, we were told from everybody that we need Quinnen Williams to sign his deal. When's Quinnen Williams going to sign his deal? Well, guess what? Quinnen Williams signed his deal. Yep. So I now expect the Chiefs, the Katz brothers, Chris Jones, Brett Veach, Clark Hunt, Andy Reid, Chris Jones's wife and kids and everybody to get in a damn room and figure it out. Veterans report a week from tomorrow on July 22nd. I'm going to need this done by July 22nd. Pay that man his money. Contracts are pretty simple. Comes down to 3 categories. All right? 3 stipulations. Number 1, are you the best player at your position? He's not.
He's top 2.
He's top 2.
And he's 2.
And he's 2. So the ceiling is Aaron Donald's contract.
Mm-hmm.
All right? You are not going to make Aaron Donald money. So we know that right then and there. That's not going to happen. Okay? Not going to happen. Is he going to make Quinnen Williams money? No, because he's better than Quinnen Williams. He's better than Jeffrey Simmons. He's better than Hargrave. He's better than all those guys. So now we know you're not going to make it was a fully guaranteed contract for Aaron Donald. We know that. Okay, a couple void years at the end and all that kind of stuff. Annual value of $31 million. He's not getting that. Okay. The average annual value for the contract for Quinnen Williams is the second highest, which is $24 million. He got a 4-year, $96 million mega deal, according to this one. It wasn't just a deal, it was a mega deal.
It's a mega deal.
He got $66 million in guarantees. Okay? That is what we know. So if you get $66 million in guarantees, that's the number. So it's not 4 years, 96. It's really 3 years, 66. So that almost equals out to 22 million annual average value. Okay. That's really good numbers for the Chiefs. He's not going to make that kind of money. So we are looking anywhere from 24 to $30 million on the average annual value that he can sign for. Get him in a room, figure this out. The Chiefs, they're going to pay Chris Jones, okay? The cap for Chris Jones next year, if they just tag him, is $31 million. So it's not smart for the Chiefs to be like, yeah, what about 25? Hey, how about 25 annual, right? No, Chris Jones is going to look at them and say, sorry, Charlie. Here, this should be negotiated. If this is what they were waiting for to see what this number was going to be, because if this number was going to be 27, then the starting number is 28. Well, the starting number here is 24. Kind of the way you can maneuver it with the guarantees and everything. That's where I said at kind of the very beginning when all this occurred. Get him around $27 million or $28 million per year on average annual value. That to me is where I would think Chris Jones was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Chris Jones and his crew is much more. No, we want to be at 30. We're going to be at 30. The Chiefs, to me, don't have as much leverage because they didn't do it before the draft. Okay. You're not just going to let him walk after this year. The franchise tag to me is not the best idea. You have no other dominant force at the defensive line in your pass rush. So for me, you pay the guy. You pay him the money. So it's figured out. $28 million. That's the number I like. $66 million in guarantees. If you want to do it, 4 years. This is the total deal. Okay. 4 years, $115 million, and do $80 million guaranteed. $80 million deal. And that's right around $28 million. It's not the 30 because Aaron Donald signed a 3-year, $95 million contract. That's what he signed.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing was guaranteed $95 million. Now they're going to maneuver it around a little bit, that type of stuff, for this year and next year. So do that. I don't care if you want to add void years at the end to lower the cap hits, and then you got a small cap, even though when he's not playing, that type of thing. I don't care. But around 4 years or 3 years, if you're going to give 80 million guaranteed, 3 years, 80 million, it's a really good number. It's a lot of money. If you want to, extrapolate like the 4 years, 110 or however you want to deal with it, great. If they don't get it done, then one of two things has occurred. The Chiefs have the line drawn in the sand and they are not going above 25 million or 26 million. Or Chris Jones has, to me, a a number that is too high. That's it. You should be able to meet in the middle. They need Chris Jones. He's only 29 years old this year, so it'll be 29, 30, 31. They hate giving contracts to 30-year-olds. I understand that. But 29 and 30, I think you can live with it for 31. If you want to talk about this current crop and this current window, this is it. You've got Patrick Mahomes, you've got Travis Kelce, you've got Chris Jones. Those are your three pillars, if you will. Travis Kelce got about this year, next year, probably, and that's it. Chris Jones has got this year, next year, and that might be it. So it's boom or bust the next 2 years. Let's ride her till she bucks you, all right? This isn't hard. I think this should get done. The only way it doesn't is someone is just egregious in their demands. If the Chiefs are like, no, we're not doing it above 25, then the Chiefs, you're cheap. And you clearly evaluate things differently than I do, because all I have to do if I am Chris Jones is put in the Bengal game in the AFC title game and say, let me know who's going to do that at that time this in 2024. You lower the cap hit. You got room to run. You got room to roam. You got room to sign some guys. How is this a bad plan?
It's not. And thing is, though, I think we have the starting where this finishes is another thing. The starting point's really clear to me. This contract starts at 4 years, $100 million. That's where this starts. If Chris wants higher, and we can negotiate from that front. But you start at 4 years, $100 million, $70 million guaranteed. And then you basically have Jones, Quinn, and Williams by about $1 million in the AAV and like $500,000 on the, kind of adjusted guarantees. There you go. Boom, bang, we're done. And I think this will get done. I don't think Chris Jones is going to have an unrealistic demand. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be willing to go up all the way to 28. It just, there's probably just the finer lines to iron out and everything like that. I don't get that worried if it's not done by next Saturday when veterans report. I think I get like a tiny bit just because the framework is so simple. Like the baseline being established is why you would think this goes a lot faster, because there's no way this deal is under 4 for 100. Because Chris Jones wants to be the second highest paid defensive tackle, and rightfully so, he should be the second highest paid defensive tackle.
What if Chris Jones thinks he should get Aaron Donald money? That really, to me, truly is the X factor.
That is, if Chris Jones wants Aaron Donald money, then that is where we get into a lot tougher conversation. And honestly, that's where I tell Chris, thanks for the memories, have a good time. I keep him this year because you can play on the cap hit you have. You can manufacture other ways if you needed a little bit of, salary maneuverability, but you can work this year. And if you wanted to keep him next year, you could franchise tag him, and it'd be probably a similar price to what you're paying him this year. So you get him for 2 more years. And then I say to Chris Jones at 31, I say, thanks for the memories. It was a fun time. Enjoy your 2 Super Bowl rings, potentially a third you would get in these next 2 seasons. Hopefully, that'd be awesome. And say, happy trails. Because the Chiefs have a number. We don't know what that number is. The Chiefs have a number and they ain't going past it. Because we've learned they have that for every free agent they have.
Yep.
Is every player they have a number and they will not cross it. And if you cross it, they treat it like the Rubicon. They ain't moving anything past it. And for Chris Jones, if for the Chiefs that number is 28 and Chris wants 29 or 30, well, Chris, you have 2 options. Either you're going to lower your demand, or you are no longer a Kansas City Chief in 2 years. Your choice. Ball is in your court.
I think, to me, if the Katz brothers, who represent Chris Jones, go to the Chiefs and say, we want $28 million annual average value over 3 years or over the 4 years, whatever, to get it to where it's around $28 million per year. To me, the Chiefs should not even say anything. They should just go and start popping bottles because they just got an agreement.
Yeah. I think 28 is the best top end number.
I don't know how that doesn't work out for either one.
I think
really
it works out great for both parties because for Chris Jones, you're getting a solid second big contract, which is going to carry you into your early 30s when most players start to decline a little bit. So you're going to get another big payday, get another large chunk of change for yourself, which is great for you and your family and sets you up, gives you some, stability with, at least being 3 years, 3 years guaranteed money. So, whatever happens, you're getting paid the next 3 years. And for the Chiefs, it gets you, your Mahomes on the defense, gets him locked in for 3 seasons and keeps everyone happy.
Yep.
Like, I still have full confidence this gets done. I will not be worried until that calendar turns in August. And then maybe I'll start getting a little worried.
Because I can see the Chiefs doing this. We'll give you 4 for 100. That's $25 million. That's the second most. And we'll give you $70 million guaranteed.
That's where we start. That's where we open the negotiations. You lowball them.
And then, Chris Jones's representation says, nope.
Need a little more.
And then you just incremental go up and up and up until somebody gets it. Like, it shouldn't take that long. We just did it.
We'll see. Then you got the legalese to iron out. All contracts have the legalese.
The problem there is, that's why I say the X factor is Chris Jones like, no, I want 31.
Yeah, the swiftness of this deal comes down to what is Chris Jones's number and how staunch he is in his number. Because if his number is 28, then I think this is done by the end of the weekend.
I think he wants to play for the Chiefs.
He does. I think so.
I think he does. I really do. Coming up, we will get to the documentary that's sweeping the nation. We'll talk quarterback next. Will not give any spoilers right now, to the best we can. One, because I am 1 episode deep. Fulton has already finished.
It's only 8 hours worth of content.
It's like 3 days for me and my wife.
Yeah, here's the difference, though, Jake. You have, a family with small children and all that stuff getting your time. I have none of that, and I had no baseball to watch the past 2 days.
Yes.
What else am I going to do for 4 hours a night?
That's correct. So the quarterback, documentary. I watched the first episode so I get a feel of it. Told my wife, I was in Dallas, said, you need to watch this. She likes the Chiefs. She likes Mahomes. She watched it. And so we're going to watch it then together.
Yeah.
As a show together that we watch.
Good.
And I'm excited. I like the first episode, kind of the setting the scene and all
nice
that kind of
setter.
stuff. You kind of get to know a little bit about it. Early on, I can tell you the Mariota stuff, probably not going to be great. That's the vibe that I get there. I get a big dad vibe from Kirk.
Kirk Cousins is the daddiest quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you from this is I hate how much I love Kirk Cousins now. I hate how much I love him now.
And I've always liked Kirk Cousins. I do think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than what people give him credit for. The problem is that he's very much an Alex Smith. He can't win the big one. They didn't win the big. Now Alex Smith took his team to the NFC title game, that type of thing, and Kirk's take him to the divisional round.
Yeah.
But it just kind of when it comes up. But the thing that you brought up there is you hate the fact how much you like Kirk Cousins and the fact that it's such a dad. He's having a bonfire or whatever, and he's wearing his favorite hoodie and gets a hole in it, and he's like,
oh no!
Now
pull my favorite sweatshirt.
He goes, now this is gonna be
my bonfire sweatshirt.
My bonfire hoodie. Like that's such a dad thing to say.
And I will say, in my reasoning for the statement, I hate how much I like Kirk Cousins now, is because I've always been a big Kirk ain't good, and I want to keep taking shots at the Vikings for paying Kirk money. The problem is now I like Kirk the guy so much, I think I have to shelve my jokes.
Yeah.
Because he is such an authentically nice human being.
So what you're starting to see, I'm seeing a lot of this on Twitter. Now, we are different because we see Patrick Mahomes all the time.
Yeah.
We know so much more about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the golf, swing away.
Swing.
I knew everything about most of those guys because I'm such a golf nut. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. But people who are not, all right? I got a text message along with my wife in a little group chat with one of my wife's good friends who lives in Washington, D.C. She's just a passive fan. She sends us both this text here. Watching quarterback on Netflix. I am now a KC fan after this. When am I coming to Kansas City to watch a game with you guys? I'm telling you, this is going to make Patrick Mahomes even more likable.
Yeah.
And a little different. You saw the very first episode where he gets into it with Max Crosby. It's kind of fun, kind of exciting. But that's just the tipping point from what you're going to see. And you've seen the whole thing.
It's
so
great.
No,
but it's fantastic.
Do you think, try to take the red colored glasses out of it. Do you think people who are not Patrick Mahomes, in depth into him, what will they get from it?
I think what the biggest thing you learn about Pat is that dude never stops working, like consistently, constantly working. Like he is not as good as he is just because of his physical gifts. That dude studies tape and film as much as like Brady and Manning-esque levels. And then my other takeaway that I think will just make you like him more as a person is just that dude loves his family. He is a dad's dad. And on a football field, that dude works so hard.
And that's the thing about it is I think this is what's going to make Mahomes even bigger.
I think so.
Coming up, we're going to talk with the legend here from 580 WIBW. Mic'd up. Jake LeBon, Fulton Caster with you. This is the first time I'm going to mention the Royals in about 72 hours. The Royals are in action tonight. They take on the Rays.
Yeah, they do.
7:10 first pitch, 6:30 pregame coverage. Tyler Glasnow, going for the Rays. Alec Marsh going for the Royals. Because, I mean, when you can pick any pitcher that you want coming off 5 days rest, who are you going to take? Well, you're going to take Alec Marsh. So the Royals are.
Who would you have liked instead?
It doesn't matter.
Then what's the purpose of the joke?
It's just the fact that Alex Marsh is the one starting out. He gave up 3 homers in 9 innings. We'll see what Alex Marsh can do against the Rays. But maybe, just maybe, Mac Trero has some, voodoo going on, and he can, stymie his old team again.
As someone who is pro Royals, you need to just figure out what they have. Who cares what wins and losses? I'm pretty sure not happier that they're starting out a rookie on the mound tonight.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Disappointing.
It doesn't really matter.
Disappointing.
It doesn't really matter.
Disappointing.
All righty. Today it's a bittersweet day today here for 580 WIBW, AM, FM, Jack, Country 106.9, the Kansas Ag Network, the Info Network.
Anything associated with this building.
Me personally, Roy, our engineer, and everyone, because today is the day that our beloved Smitty is retiring. And I will tell you this, folks, you probably you don't know him, but you've seen him probably around if there's remotes, because he's everywhere, and he's been doing this for 41 years. He is now retiring, and we wish him all the best. That's why it's bittersweet, because I'm so happy that he is done. He's worked too damn long in his life.
That's true.
He needs to just go out and do whatever he wants to do.
Go hang out on your private island
and go play a whole lot of golf. But he is Rick Smith. Rick, I wanted you to come in here because one, I don't know if you remember this. You trained me on the board back in 2005.
Trained a lot of people on the board.
Yes. Rick Smith did. Jerry Chapin did as well. But Smitty, I remember you were one of the first people that I met at this building when I was just a young punk intern. And you have been the nicest guy. You are one of the smartest people I know, because you can literally fix it. When something goes wrong, nobody tries to figure it out. They just go, is Smitty in? And so you have fixed so much stuff. You have done so many different hats at this radio station. You transitioned from the old Menninger Hill all the way to here. You 41 years and you're deciding to hang them up. But I want to say personally, just thank you for everything that you have done for myself, for the sports team, for this radio station. We would not function without you, and I
Nope,
frankly
not
don't
even close.
know how we're gonna
Truly, I don't know how we're. I am giving it 5.5 days is my over under for how long until we call Smitty on his off time and go, hey, we have a problem.
So I gotta know, take me through the last 41 years. You've been on the board for the Royals radio network. You were there in 1985 when the Royals won the World Series.
Yeah.
You're back at the studio with the network, and you're the one firing everything off. You're controlling everything, sending out all that stuff. You're there for the K-State stuff. I gotta know, you've seen a lot of stuff since you've been here at this radio station.
Yeah, have seen a lot of stuff, and boy, has the time changed between then and now. I mean, holy cow! Back when we were running reel tape, and we have live programming with the Pleasant Valley Gang in the morning and stuff like that. Those are always great memories. And yeah, Royals Network for I don't know 15, 18 years in a little padded room with carpet on the walls, rolling reel tape and highlights, and then worked with some mighty fine people with over the years through the Royals program, and with when we were TV and radio together, Paradis and Split Orf and all those guys. It's been great. Been quite a time.
In 1985, all the if you remember 1985, when the Royals in their heyday and George Brett's 3,000th hit and all that kind of stuff, it was still reel to reel with the actual tape. I know that sounds foreign to you.
I'll say this is all going right over my 27-year-old head right now.
Hey, it's above my head.
Okay, good.
It's above my head.
I don't feel out of place then.
But if you ever heard a highlight of any of those things, a highlight of that, you were responsible for that. You're the one back here slicing it and doing it. And I can't imagine your fingers and the amount of Band-Aids that you had to have with the razor blades and all that kind of stuff. You're the one doing all of that. So when it comes to the changes since you first got here back 41 years ago till most recently, what's been the biggest change for you?
Oh, going digital. That's still a challenge for me sometimes when it's on the computer issues. Roy's done a great job handling all the IT stuff. But yeah, back in the day when you were rolling reel tape and you were little pieces of paper on the big 10-inch reels, and you're sticking paper in where the highlight starts, and then rolling another one to record the game while you're trying to piece this one out, and putting it on a cart, like an 8-track cart, so you can play it in the cart machine. And working Royals review with Ron Paradis all those years and stuff like that, to make a 30-minute highlight reel, and on Royals review to feed down the network the next morning or prior to the ball game, just before the ball game. Yeah, those were always challenging times, but I can appreciate the digital format now, where just run Adobe or Cool Edit or something like that, cut and paste, and you got it done. That's why in the Royals broadcast now, there's one producer doing that, commercials and the whole thing, a log to go through, and just rolls by itself.
We're talking with Rick Smith. He is retiring. His last day is today. He's been here at this station for 41 years, and he's seen it and done it all. And the one thing, Smitty, is I've asked you this so many times. I was like, how do you know how to do this? And folks, I don't have the acumen enough to even describe to you what he can. Like I say, Smitty, I need this, and it's done within like an hour. The amount of stuff that he puts into radio equipment, and he can. The thing that blows my mind is you can make like motherboards, and you can make all this stuff, and he's soldering stuff left and right, and it smells like burnt, and I'm like, what is happening? And every time it works, and all the stuff back there in the control room, you have got if there's a way that we can like download everything in your brain and put it onto like a flash drive. We need like 8 terabytes in order for that to actually happen.
Well,
But I don't know how you do all of that and how you're able to do all that. Can you explain to me? You didn't go to school for it. You just know it.
well, I took a radio and TV repair course through Washburn Tech, back then called Valley Tech or whatever it was, a 2-year program with that. And I got this job from that class.
No kidding.
Ed O'Donnell hired me and ran the board for overnights for a long time. And,
Yep, done that.
you know,
Not fun.
just been about every position there can be except for management in here. So, and I don't really care to be in that for one thing, but, you know, it's been an awesome trip. It really has. I really enjoyed, you know, the 25 Stampedes that I've been to since day one of Stampede.
And the amount of things that he has had to fix at Stampede is it's the infinite number. It's the infinite symbol.
Yeah, because Stampede becomes the most cursed week
my
ever
goodness.
No,
around this place.
We'd pull a 60-foot trailer down there and put it on stage by the stage, and then I'd have to build an FM studio on one side, an AM studio on the other side, and then broadcast that back to whoever or whatever, you know, just make it happen. And that's changed a lot since you know, the digital age has come around. So, you know, I don't feel it's amazing. It really is. It's
the state basketball tournaments that we've able to put on. I cannot thank you enough for doing all of that. The time that you have put in. I know, and I speak for so many of the sports guys. You mentioned Ron Paradis. I know Mark Elliott, Bruce Steinbrock, Greg Sharp,
Bruce,
all of them.
All great guys.
We wouldn't be here without you. What you're able to do in this studio. I mean, you probably put this studio together. To be honest with you, I did not. The whole entire thing. You did this whole thing. He did this whole thing. Like it's incredible how you're able to do that. So I wanted to say thank you. And to let everybody know, one, we are going to miss you, but we're happy for you. So what are you going to be doing? We know you are so involved with the Shriners, which is awesome because we got the Kansas Shrine Bowl coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. You're big into the Shriners. I know you love tinkering. You love just making things. I know you're big into golf now, which is terrific. What are we going to be doing here in retirement?
Well, hope to be spending some time out at the lake. And,
there we go.
Doing a little wakeboarding and stuff like that. That's always fun. I got a good buddy that provides that for me, and very generous, and good trip down to Arkansas every once in a while. And other than that, you know, I got a lot of things to do at home, like cut down some trees, you know, that's grown over in the last 20 some years that I hadn't been able to get to. But yeah, got a farm that we're working on and stuff like that. So just going to take it easy for here on out.
Well, you said take it easy. He says he's going to go wakeboard.
Yeah, take it easy involves wakeboarding and trimming up trees.
How many people do you know? And I hate to do this to you, Smitty, but how many people your age wakeboard? I just saying.
Well, the friend of mine that I'm talking about, he's in his 70s, and
That's awesome.
and he does the mutter up in
Emporia,
the bike ride, the 50-mile bike ride and stuff like that. He's an incredible man. That's
crazy. All righty. My last two for you, two for the road, as we say thank you to Rick Smith. And there are people on the text line as well telling you, congratulations, Rick. The retirement waters are fine. Quote, we will miss Rick's awesome voice on all the commercials. The Ballard.
So the Ballard spot will never ever be the same.
You should be able to have a membership, and anytime you want to go to Lake of the Woods, you should be able to just hop on there and be like, hey, I'm Rick Smith, I'm going, and everybody there will be like, hey, Rick. So my last two for you, I gotta know, what's the toughest thing that you've had to fix here? If something can you can go back in the Wayback Machine.
It wasn't fixing, but it was one of the most nauseating things that I've ever had to do. Was over on the hill, the FM studio, and we had a wire channel that runs up from the basement up and around and stuff like that. So, and there was this god awful smell of something dead. And I thought, I might just be a rat, we'll let it go. And we had Royals Caravan coming through like on Monday. And I noticed this on Saturday morning. Well, Sunday when I went, it was atrocious. So I got down into the crawl spaces of the building and was looking around, following my nose, and I found it. It was a dead possum.
Oh no.
Underneath the FM studio where all that odor wafted up. And I said, what am I going to do with this? So I went upstairs and I grabbed me a cardboard box and I thought I'd just go down in there, grab him, put him in the box and get him out of there. Well, I went to grab his tail to put him in the box.
No.
And it fell apart.
Oh no.
Oozed all over the place.
Oh boy.
Oh man, the odor was great. I almost lost it. Turned green, got out of there, backed out of there as quick as I
figure out
could.
another way.
You're like, nope.
Got me a trash bag.
No.
And I went down to Walmart and I think I bought all I love my carpet that they had, about a case of it. And got him in the bag, got him out of the building, and I sprinkled that stuff all over the place. I left the doors open overnight, fans running, and it smelled like roses when the Royals caravan came through on that Monday
like,
morning.
it just smells so fresh. You are so nice to have done this for us. You're like, you don't even know what I've been through.
But that's the thing. He can create a studio. He can run the board. You can do everything. Like, you are the true jack of all trades, Smitty.
Well, you're too kind to mention that.
Well, that's true. Also from the text line, got a great voice as well. No question. So Smitty, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. We wish you the best in retirement. Hopefully we see you around, and I can buy you a shot of tequila or two, because I know you're a fan of the tequila.
We'll be on around. I'll stay on contract with them if they need something.
Yeah, it's going to be on contract a lot.
Yeah, it might be 5 days from now.
It might be a real quick time around that we have to call on that contract a little bit.
Smitty, thank you so much, my friend.
You're quite welcome, Jake.
You are an absolute gem, an absolute gem. And every company needs a Smitty. If you don't, your company is not what it could be. I'm telling you that right now. We'll get a quick timeout. Coming up next, we will get to the Eagles. Man, they just need to let it go. We're going to get to that. Finish off this noon hour. I've just converted Rick Smith into a Buc-ee's fan.
Did you give him a beaver nugget?
I did. He goes, "Oh, these are really good."
Also, you gonna share any of those beaver nuggets?
Well, those are for Britt. Because
those are Britt's beaver nuggets?
Those are Britt's beaver nuggets.
Okay. Do you have beaver nuggets to share with the class?
Well, I got them back at the house.
Okay.
I bought 3 bags of that.
You brought me jerky, so I don't need beaver nuggets. I do appreciate the jerky I was brought. And just to confirm for the jokes that Brendan and I even made, Jay did supply jerky this time.
Yes.
I'm very appreciative. I've already eaten part of the bag.
Did you like the peppered jerky?
Oh, it's delicious.
Is that the one flavor you'd want?
Probably. I usually prefer a peppered is probably where I immediately go, but I've yet to meet a jerky I don't like.
Yeah, that's a big bag too.
It is, and I'll be honest, I don't know if that bag will make it to Monday.
What do you do? That's a big bag, man. You got to save some.
I don't know if the bag's going to make it to Monday. I don't have self-control.
But yeah, I got a couple more bags because my wife was the one who first got me onto Buc-ee's and changed my life forever. I told her maybe the third best thing that you brought to our relationship
is Buc-ee's.
Is one, my kids, and then Buc-ee's.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I got some beaver nuggets. I'll bring another bag by here. She wants to have a couple bags. So.
I did joke on the air yesterday when I saw your tweet about you guys being at Buc-ee's. I said they're probably going to be there for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I said Jake's going to walk out with like 8 bags of beaver nuggets.
A couple different flavors. Got me a nice little
travel mug.
They have everything there. I saw I called my wife. I said, "What do you want from Buc-ee's?" And she goes, "Well, gosh, that's like saying, you can have anything you want." She said, "Surprise me." And so I got her some fudge.
Okay.
She loved, Buc-ee's has fudge.
Buc-ee's has everything.
Everything. So just to let everybody know there. So converted Rick Smith. He's a Beaver Nugget fan from now on. So he goes, "Oh man, I've never had these before."
That was me last year when you did that.
Yeah, and Britt was the same way. Britt was so negative. Like, what is these? What are these?
I was very curious. I was like, what are these? I tried them. Oh, these are good.
Yes.
Beaver nuggets are tasty.
Yeah. And it does. It does. All right. I got a little bit of a problem with, I like the Eagles. I like Jason Kelsey. I like Jalen Hurts. I like AJ Brown. I like a lot of their guys.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But it's starting to get too much for me. And you're starting to anger me. All right? Like you care. Dallas Goedert, tight end, talking about the Super Bowl on the Barstool Pardon My Take podcast.
You want to talk about the Super Bowl now?
Yeah, we're good. I think I'm almost over it, I'm moved on.
Almost over it? Doesn't sound like you're over.
Okay.
How slippery was that turf? How much are we blaming the sod father?
Man, the sod father did not do good, but
No.
he knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All I can say is it was a great game till the end. If the field was better, if we're playing on turf, I take us 10 out of 10, but I have to say that.
Yeah, no.
Stop. You're making excuses. It's July. You lost. Get over it. Both teams had to play on it. Stop. And the thing that really makes me mad is you're blaming George Toma. All right, the sod father. Look here. Oh, he knew what he was doing. You're trying to tell me that the guy who's done the Super Bowl since the dawn of the sun, that, he's got it out for you, the Eagles. You had Brandon Graham going, "Oh yeah, we would have dominated their O-line if we didn't slip and fall all the time." You want to know who didn't slip and fall a ton? The Chiefs did. So they clearly were able to adjust to it. This is loser stuff, and this is the stuff that is. I like the Eagles. I do. You're wanting to make me hate I'm starting to hate the Eagles now. You lost.
I just want football season to actually get here so we can all shut up about this stuff, man. Because there's 2 avenues that's happening here. Either A, in this case of Dallas Goedert specifically, is just lean into it a little bit because that's the type of podcast he was on, because that's what those, jabronis do. Or B, he actually believes it. Both are terrible aspects. And if you actually believe it, just shut up. All I know is this. The Chiefs and Eagles meet on Monday Night Football. And if this talk happens throughout the year, if I've learned anything, Pat Jones is going to put up like 60 points. Because he's going to be angry, and you don't want to make him angry.
Oh, they held Juju, and that didn't affect the play. Oh, the grass was slippery. Patrick Mahomes completed every damn pass in the second half. You were down. You were up by 10, and you lost in the second half.
Yeah.
Maybe take some onus of that. Ridiculous. Coming up, we got a lot more to get to here on Mic'd Up. We will get to a little Big 12. Hour number 2 mic'd up on this Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake Vaughn along with Fulton Caster. We're going to talk a little Royals baseball coming up with Craig Brown. They play tonight. We'll get to some more Royals discussion in the 2 o'clock hour, what we're looking for, but I always enjoy Craig's perspective. We will get to that coming up. Our list today, it is National French Fry Day. We are not going to rank where to get the fry, but what fry you like.
What type of fry?
Yes. Did you know
Maybe.
that the French fry did not come from the French?
Yes.
Where did it come from?
I couldn't tell you.
Belgium.
Oh. I was doing it was in French.
They,
Oh, so it's French adjacent.
yeah. Belgium, though. Belgium.
The Belgians, creators of some very good things.
Yes. Yes. So,
The French fry, the Belgian waffle. Love a good Belgian waffle.
chocolate.
We can thank our friends in Belgium for a lot of things.
Yes.
French, one of the official languages of Belgium.
Kevin De Bruyne, soccer player from Belgium. Manchester City legend.
Kevin De Bruyne.
He's really good, by the way.
That was a very, very funny one to tack on there.
Good pull, right?
Yeah, it's a good pull.
Soccer nut, Jake LeBon.
Yeah, soccer insider Jake LeBon.
I want to get to a little Big 12 talk because you and I haven't had a chance to talk Big 12 after the Big 12 media days yesterday. But there were a couple things from each head coach that I want to get to, which makes me excited for each team. First, I think there is some similarities to this, okay? And Chris Kleiman spoke about his offensive coordinator, Colin Klein, and how he is so excited for Colin Klein for his second year. Colin Klein flirted a little bit with Notre Dame, came back, got a little pay raise. So he is the OC for Kansas State. And Chris Kleiman talked about Colin Klein this upcoming year and why he's even more interested and excited not just because it's his second year as the OC. And we saw what his offense did last year.
Yeah.
But here's what Chris Kleiman had to say about this year's offense and what he is interested in with his OC.
Colin Klein, I'm excited for him because last year is how are we going to get the ball to Deuce Vaughn? That's what we're going to do. Everybody knew 22 was getting the football. How are we getting it to him? Is he out of the backfield? Is he flexed out? Whatever it may be. Well, now we have a lot of guys that we need to be able to spread the football around, and people can't come in and say, well, we just got to stop Deuce and we have a chance. Well, is it going to be Trayshawn Ward? Is it going to be DJ Giddens? Is it going to be Ben Sennett? Is it going to be Keegan Johnson? Is it going to be Phillip Brooks? Is it going to be RJ Garcia? And so on and so forth. We have a lot more people that I think we don't have to throw it all on one person.
K-State scored 35 points per game last year in the Big 12 play. Here is what their scores were. Big 12 title game, 31. KU, 47. West Virginia, 48. Baylor, 31. Texas, 27. Oklahoma State, 48. TCU, 28. That was with Jake Rubley throwing interceptions. Texas Tech, 37. Oklahoma, 41. It's a lot of threes in there. That's why you average 35. You want to, it's not apples to apples, and I understand that. But to me, what does that kind of remind you of? Oh, we don't have to get it to Deuce Vaughn. Oh, we don't have to get it to Deuce Vaughn, you know? Isn't that kind of like throwing it to Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, a little bit, honestly.
You know? Now, here's the difference. Here is the difference. I agree with what Chris Kleiman had to say there. I do. This is going to be a lot more spread out. We know that. We do. Hard to game plan that. Who's gonna take it here? Who's gonna stop him here? The one benefit though for college is you bank on stuff. You say, we know we're gonna do this. K-State's identity was, we have one of the most electric players on the field. Try to stop him. They can't say that anymore. That's hard to bank on, right? What is your identity? Their identity last year, now K-State coaches and everything will say no, that wasn't it. But it was, our identity was Deuce Vaughn. And then, okay, how can we play off Deuce Vaughn? Okay. They don't have that anymore. Same thing we talked about with the Chiefs. You don't have Tyreek Hill. So that means you can, move it around a whole lot more. But you still have Travis Kelce. Okay. You still had that go-to guy. They don't have that go-to guy. So how does Kansas State move forward with that? They're a lot like the Chiefs aspect of it, where I think that Phillip Brooks can get it done. I know Ben Sennett can get it done. But can the other guys find a way? Can the RJ Garcias, can the Keegan Johnsons, can they get it done? And if they can, this offense will put up close to 30 points a game because they have a veteran and not just a veteran offensive line, a good offensive line. They got a quarterback who's got experience. They've got running backs who are not Deuce Vaughn. Now, we've heard all of them said, especially Cooper Beebe, Ward's got a little Deuce Vaughn tendencies. Still not Deuce Vaughn, but you've got the combination of them both. DJ Giddens a lot bigger, and he's a downhill runner. That's going to be the punishing style. You're going to see he's going to run over some dudes this year. Junction City, Blue Jay product. But that's interesting. A lot more spread it out, and you only do that is if you have a quarterback who you can trust and maybe a little bit longer in the pocket. So I thought that was interesting. I would rather have the Deuce Vaughn because that is a given. You knew Deuce Vaughn was going to, he rushed for 1,500 yards last year, and he had almost 400 yards receiving. That's almost 2,000 yards all purpose for Deuce Vaughn. I'd rather have that, but another year for Colin Klein, another year to figure it out. I do like that. And I think that is something to follow. Their depth, their role players. This is how you know if a program just keeps on churning out stuff. This is how Oklahoma did it. This is how, Bama and how Georgia. Oh, we lost Jordan Davis, right? Oh, you know who we're going to bring in? We're going to bring in Jalen Carter. Oh, we lost Malik Knowles. We lost Cade Warner. Well, can RJ Garcia do what Cade Warner did and have 500 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns? Can Ward help step in and do that? That's when you become a program. That's when you become year to year and not build, great year, build, great year, where you see that's what Iowa State did. That is what Iowa State did, except their great year was 8-5 or 9 and what did Iowa State win here? Hold on. Iowa State,
whatever they did that one year,
9-3, right? Yeah. 9-3, didn't win anything. And then they went, it's exactly Iowa State. 7-6, 9-3, then you drop down to 7-6, and then 4-8. That 9-3 was when you had Purdy and you had Breece Hall and you had just, terrific talent, and then it dipped down again. Can you continue to replace? I thought that was interesting. What about Lance Leipold? And I think there are two things for KU that they can produce exactly what they did last year, regardless of what the defense does. Because it's all on the defense this upcoming year. But if Jalen Daniels can stay healthy for 12 games, KU will go back to a bowl game. There's no question in my mind if he stays healthy for 12 games.
That'd be nice.
And this is what Lance Leipold had to say about Daniels taking less hits.
And when he was injured, we make sure it was on a scramble play. It was a play that broke the pocket, so it wasn't a designed run. But again, that's why don't they run the ball with quarterbacks in the NFL? You're answering the question, yep. Right? So, again, it doesn't mean we're going to be reckless, but we're confident with Jason Bean as well and what he's done. But we know we're a different football team when Jalen Daniels is behind center. We got to be smart, but the RPO game and the options that we've included, sometimes will dictate he's going to run the ball. We have to be smart. We have to talk to him. We've talked with him and quarterbacks in our offenses in the past, when to get down, when to lunge forward, when to slide, when to do those things. All are important, and we got to be able to take advantage of those things and coach him and be smart for hopefully a 12-plus game season.
Mm-hmm. Can you keep him healthy? That's he said it there. We are a better, more diverse, dynamic team if Jalen Daniels is on the field. Not a question. Jason Bean did his job filling in, got him the one win. You needed one win from your backup quarterback. You got that one win from your backup quarterback against Oklahoma State. That was great. Can he take less hits? Do they call the game differently? That's big. The other aspect, I don't think I've heard a KU head coach say this audio clip since Mark Mangino. Didn't happen under Turner Gill. Didn't happen under Charlie Weiss. Didn't happen under David Beatty. Didn't happen under Les Miles. Here is what Lance Leipold had to say about the depth of the offensive line.
It's always Scott Fuchs, our line coach, and I and Andy Kolnicki, we talk about this, guys. Sometimes when you have just a backup right tackle, a backup left tackle, he may be your 9th or best or 10th best offensive lineman. Okay, and if one of those guys get hurt, you're playing 6 through 9 are still sitting on the bench or something. We've got enough movable parts with those guys that can play different positions that allow us to have our best guys on the time, but also rotate some during the year that'll keep us fresh in those physical ball games that hopefully will help us down that back half of the season.
Have not heard that from a KU coach in a long time. Offensive linemen are a lot like pitchers in Major League Baseball. You got 5 of them. Start. You're going to need
more.
You're going to need about 9 because it is a beast of a position, but also, just like pitchers, they don't go the whole game. Sometimes O linemen can't go the whole game. Now, some of them you do. Some of them are better ones, but even then, give them a break here or there. Gives them a little bit of rest, okay? There's a reason why, They don't play all 40 minutes. That's why Devontae Graham, when he'd play all 40 minutes, Bill Self would say after the game, I don't want to do this. You now not only, okay, we can sub in. We don't have to have Michael Ford play the entire time. We don't have to have Dominic Puny play the entire time. Hey, let's give someone some other reps to help out for next year. Save a little bit. But if somebody does go down, it's not going, oh dear. It is now going, all right, you know what, the best guy, we can move him to left tackle, and we can move, Puny in to left guard. So we've got the best guys. No, we're switching, we're moving, we're going to make it work. Having depth at the offensive line, it's not fun. It's not sexy. Nobody, the only time you care about offensive linemen are one, when they get a holding call, one, they get a false start call, or two, they're pulling out in the open and they just pancake a defensive back. That's it. That's all that people see the offensive line. But that's why 90% of the time you win the game. Having good offensive line depth. KU finally has that.
Yeah, and that's been a big problem for KU for years, and was one of their biggest sticking points. Just they weren't big enough up front. They were not a Big 12 offensive line, and that caused them a lot of problems for all of those down years. And it's so important now that they have it. And more importantly, as Lance Leipold noted, it's not just depth; it's the versatility with the depth. Mm-hmm. It's not just we got guys for backups for each individual spot, but they can only play one spot. We got 9 to 10 offensive linemen, and they can all shift everywhere. That allows us to put together the best combination of 5 whenever we need to try and make it work. So, no, that to me is the biggest thing that signals to me that KU is really taking a step forward to becoming a much different type of program, is that they're getting their offensive line issues solved. Because that was, like, outside of the quarterback play, outside of the fact that between Todd Reesing and Jalen Daniels, the quarterback play was bleak.
Yes.
Very, very bleak. Outside of that gap, the other big problem for KU was their offensive line didn't exist, at least on the offensive side of the football. And then, of course, they, of course, had many other issues. But offensively, that was their 2 big problems, is they never had a quarterback, and they couldn't protect said quarterback to save their life.
If Daniels doesn't take as many hits and the O-line plays well, KU will go 6-6 this year. Regardless of what the defense does. The defense returns 7 guys. A lot of their guys are back. Up front, they did lose some guys. That's going to be the biggest question, is the pass rush. We know the secondary returns everybody. If their defense improves and you get less hits, Daniels plays the whole way, plus the O-line depth, now we're talking, hey, this is going to be a tough team every single game, because the scheme that which they play is good. I'll relate it back to the Royals. It's a lot of what ifs.
It is.
What if the pass rush? What if Daniels doesn't take hits? What if the O-line stays healthy? What if the defense doesn't improve? Well, if none of those things happen, you get the Royals. Because what if Bobby Witt? What if Vinny P? What if the starting rotation? What if Daniel Lynch? What if Daniel Singer? Well, all of them took a step back. So I think it's interesting. We said this yesterday. It's like the unofficial start of football for us, at least here in the state of Kansas, with what occurred. Because next week, Chiefs training camp starts up. We're going to hear from Andy Reid on Tuesday, players on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Everybody's there on Saturday.
Then we roll into all the training camp stuff the week after that.
You bet.
Football season's here.
Thank God.
With you that.
Coming up next, everyone loves the list, French fry edition. It is National French Fry Day today, July 14th. Alrighty, I got a question for you, Fulton.
Yes, Jake.
Is a tater tot a French fry?
No.
Okay, so I need to include that because tater tots would be on my list. You know me, love a good tot.
You do love a good tot. No, tater tots not French fries. They're their own thing.
Okay,
they're their own subclass of thing.
But they kind of fall under the
concept of a fried potato, yes, but a fried breaded potato, yes. But then we get into a really gray area that I don't want to get into.
Okay, that's why I asked.
Thank you for asking.
Number 4.
Easy, the steak fries. Steak fries are good. I think a little times too much potato to crunchiness, but I do like a good steak fry.
Number 4 is the standard regular fry.
That's a good call.
The standard regular fry. Like it.
Number 3 for me, it's the crinkle cut. I love a crinkle cut French fry. They're really good.
Number 3 for me. Now, we're not including any like toppings. Like I didn't include like cheese fries or
no,
chili
it's
cheese.
just based on the fry itself.
Exactly.
Every fry is made better with cheese.
Like no poutine fries.
No,
or,
every fry is made better with a topping.
You know, aioli fries.
Yeah, no, we just need standard. You got to fry, maybe a little salt at most.
Okay,
that's all you got.
Number 3, the waffle fry.
Okay,
like a waffle fry.
Put it at 3.
Like a waffle fry at 3.
Okay. That's a fine spot for it. Number 2 for me, the curly fry. Curly fries are fantastic. They are one of the better fries in existence. I love a curly fry.
I had some curly fries the other day. Where did I have them? They were delicious.
Curly fries rule.
And that's why I have them at number 2 as well.
Good call.
The curly, number 2 in my list.
The curly is amazing. But to me, when it comes to fries, there is an undisputed, no questions asked number 1. And if you pick a different one, I think you're incorrect. It is the waffle fry. The waffle fry is number 1, and there is no contender. The waffle fry is the greatest French fry.
I've got it at 3.
You're wrong, but that's fine. I'm glad you have it on the list at least.
I got it at 3.
You at least have it on the list.
Got it at 3. The number 1 fry, and it is my undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on them because this is what we first ate when I was a kid.
Okay.
And now, not very many people have them, but the true, real ones know. Had them yesterday. It's the crinkle cut. The crinkle cut is the number 1 fry. Okay. I grew up on that where you put them on a pan, put them in the oven, come out, throw some salt on there, put the ketchup, and then we went to Raising Cane's yesterday, and them fries hit. The crinkle cut is the king.
Crinkle cuts are good.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with Craig Brown on all things Royals baseball. Severe thunderstorm warning issued by the National Weather Service here in Topeka. The severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Riley Western Shawnee, Central Wabaunsee, Eastern Potawatomi, Southern Nemaha, and Western Jackson. That is the severe thunderstorm warning until 2:15 p.m., so about 45 minutes. Got some 60-degree mile-per-hour wind gusts, impact damage to the roof, siding, and trees. Locations: Wamego, Holton, Rossville, St. Mary's, Dover, Silver Lake, Maple Hill, McFarland, Paxico, Soldier, Delia, Havensville. This is between 319 and 349, so getting to Topeka here soon. We're also in a severe thunderstorm watch for portions of southern and eastern parts of this county. So be prepared. It will go until 11:55, beg your pardon, until 7 p.m. So little severe thunderstorm warning locally and a severe thunderstorm watch for this area of the state of Kansas. Right now, though, on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line, we're going to talk a little Royals baseball. They gear up tonight to take on the Rays. And we bring in Craig Brown, who does a fantastic job. Check out intothefountains.com. It is, or intothefountains.substack.com. Just Google Into the Fountains. It is a great Royals newsletter. And he joins us to talk a little Royals baseball. Craig, how are you doing on the this second half of the season starting today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. Excited about the second half of the season, I think. Hopeful that this team shows a little bit of improvement.
Was there any improvement?
Like during the season?
Yeah,
during
so
the first
far,
half?
the first half. Was there any improvement where you're like, yes, this is good? Or was it Murphy's Law?
Yeah, no. That first half was probably, if anybody at One Royal Way was drawing up, scenarios for the season, what we have right now is about the ultimate worst, I think, that you could have drawn up. It's disappointment across the board. There's some individual bright spots, but even those just really aren't bright enough, to kind of rescue this team from just really an abysmal first half showing. I know that they're talking about that this is an evaluation season. I get all that. But it's just it's been really a grim first half for this team. If you want to look at positives, Garcia, Bobby Witt on the left side of the infield at third base and shortstop respectively. I think that those guys are showing something. You feel good about them. You want them to develop that consistency, or a little more consistency, I guess. On the offensive side, pitching, you struggle to find any kind of positives. Although Brady Singer's put together a couple of nice starts. Daniel Lynch, being back is, he's looked better, I think, this year than, what we've seen from him in the past. So, kind of grasping at straws though for the real, positive, feel good kind of stuff in the first half.
Who are the players this second half that you are most interested in, whether it is pitching, position players? Who are you interested in to see if they take a step forward? And if these guys take a step forward this second half of the season, that leads to some hope, at least going into the offseason.
I think that MJ Melendez is a really key guy for this team. Not getting it done at all offensively, again, consistently. We've seen, flashes of promise from him. I think that the Royals are really getting close to a point with him where they need to figure out what to do to unlock him. I mean, they're there. Does that mean a trip to the minors? Does that mean you put him on the bench for a week and just, try to work with him on certain things to get him on track? It's not happening for him, and so it feels like they need to get him going, because again, you got Michael Garcia, you got Bobby Witt, these guys are, carrying a lot of the load of the offense, which seems kind of strange even to say. Salvi is, performing at around like a major league average hitter. Those three guys, they need more length in the lineup, and that's what Melendez is supposed to provide them. Pitching side, I'm just, can Singer, put it together. My God, every time we talk, we're like, is he going to throw the changeup? It's like ramming my head against the wall. But Daniel Lynch, Alec Marsh is going to go tonight. I'm just interested in seeing these young guys come up. Can they show anything? There's been a lot of talk about pitching development and the program that the Royals have. And Rogers has a great story at MLB.com about, what they're doing at the minor league level. I'm on board with what they're, the coaching staff at the major league level, even though, we haven't seen improvement. This is where you kind of start to wonder, like, are these guys like salvageable, right? Like the guys that are on the major league staff that have been in the major leagues for a couple of years, are they going to be able to step forward? Or are they just going to kind of continue in the, let's just say, rut that they're in as Major League Baseball players? So they kind of got to sort that out. Giving you a wide range, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen in the second half to feel good going into the off season, and that requires almost a complete 180-degree turnaround from what we saw in the first half.
Craig Brown is our guest here on Mic'd Up. Craig is the writer of Into the Fountains, a fantastic newsletter you can find at Substack.com. Just Google Into the Fountains. You'll find it on Substack at intothefountains.substack.com. You can also follow Craig on Twitter at CraigBrown_KC, joining us here on the Flame Place Wine and Spirits phone line. On the pitching side specifically, Craig, and I guess this is a little bit less of a this year short-term thing, more of a long-term thing, between Daniel Lynch and Brady Singer, who do you think, if one of them were to have a complete turnaround here in the second half and just all of a sudden go on what can we describe as a heater of a run here in the second half, which of those two guys do you think their quicker turnaround, their more positive development to end the season, which one do you think turning it around would be more beneficial to the long-term prospects of this club between Daniel Lynch and Brady Singer?
Can I choose both? I mean, the Royals
sure.
pitching in the worst way. I mean, it's so important. I think, Singer we saw last year put together a run, so we know that he has that in him. But again, what I perceive to be, the stubbornness, the hard-headedness of, keeping that slider the changeup in his holster when he really needs 3 pitches to be an effective major league pitcher, starting pitcher. So I think that there's potential for him to turn it around. Just, again, based on last year's results, Lynch, we've never really seen it from him on that consistent basis. But I feel like, again, he's still the guy with the upside that, we've been talking about ever since he broke into big leagues. As probably the guy in this pitching class from 2018 that will, when we're sitting around talking about this, 15, 20 years from now, we're like, was the best guy of this bunch. So he still, has that significant upside with the four seamer that he throws along with the slider. He's throwing more changeups this year than he has before, which is, obviously, something that the Royals have communicated with him, and the changeup is doing really well for him. It's been a very good pitch. I think that he is a guy, Lynch, who he remains key for this team going forward. But, as we've seen from, the Royals, needing to run out Jordan Lyles every fifth day, having Brad Keller on the staff early in the season, they need innings from guys. They need guys to step up. They have, Matt Quatraro, say what you will about him. It has to be just like a constant, like Maalox moment for him to throw these guys out on the mound every day, wondering, how many innings he's going to get from each starting pitcher when he's not running out an opener. So, he needs both guys to step up. Both guys need to be, let's not make them aces. Let's not say that they're number one starters, but they need to be dependable, let's say mid-rotation, number 3, number 4 guys for a team that is desperately need of pitching depth.
That it would be very nice for both or even just one of them to really make one of those strides forward. Because, yeah, this team needs pitching depth in the absolute worst way. Going over to the hitting side, Maikel Garcia and Bobby Witt Jr. each finished the first half very strong. They seem to be really cementing themselves as a strong left side or middle of the infield or however you want to do it. They're cementing themselves as two key pieces to this lineup going forward, going into next season and beyond for whatever core the Royals try to establish for whenever they hopefully return to some competitive era, whether that be in 25 or 26 or hopefully not much longer beyond that. Going with the players currently on the team, particularly the young guys, who do you think has the best chance to step up as the third guy to join them and really cement himself as a next long-term member of this Royals offense and a next key piece of the rest of the young hitters outside of Bobby and Maikel? Who do you think has the best chance to really cement themselves as the, kind of the number 3 piece to the core?
Well, I mean, I think that the loss of Vinny Pasquantino, is a big deal for this team. They need him, and I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be fun. For me, again, it comes back. Who do I think is going to be the guy to step up? I mean, the current roster, man, I don't. Prado has looked good. It has shown some promise that has kind of taken me by surprise just based on, what we saw from him last year and what, the minor league track record has been. I mean, I know that he picked it up, minor leagues before he got up to the big leagues after a season of, some struggles. I thought he was going to be a guy that would kind of, struggle a lot and just kind of be one of those fringe major league players. But along with the defense that he brings at first, which is exceptional, he has shown an ability. And I think as he gets even more comfortable and more knowledgeable about how the strike zone is going to be called for him up here, I think that he's going to be a guy that can, turn it on and be, I'm hoping that he can be a reliable on base kind of guy for the team. Beyond, he's shown a lot of promise. I've been very encouraged by what we've seen with him. Mainly taking over that spot at first since Vinny's been out and will be out for the rest of the season. So I'll hang the number 3 star on him in the hopes that he can step forward.
We are talking to Craig Brown here on our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line. You can check him out at Into the Fountains. One draft question for you. Is the draft too much of a crapshoot to really say they did a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it's far too early, I think, to render any kind of judgment. I think, though, it's fair to look at the draft, this year and look at, the positions that they targeted, especially, their first rounder, and say, hey, it's a high school catcher. The return on high school catchers historically has not been a good return, especially in the early rounds, the first round of the draft. Bit of a stretch there. But they have done a decent job in the past finding some value in the middle rounds. And even though the draft has shrunk in recent years, there's still an opportunity there for them to have found that. And it's gonna be, a few years until we totally, figure out, how this draft actually grades for them. But I'm not a big prospect hound. I mean, there's a bunch of people that follow the amateur ball and more than I do. So I know that they're kind of it's a questionable assessment of the Royal strategy in the draft this year. But it will take a couple of years to see how it all shakes out. I think that again, you're talking about also an organization that hasn't had a very good track record, with the draft. Say it's a middling track record. They need to be better, for sure. And based on where they are as a franchise today, they needed to hit a home run in this draft. unfortunately, it's not like football. It's not like basketball
Mhm.
where you sit back and these guys are going to slot into the lineup straight away. So it'll be a little bit. So I don't think it's fair to render any kind of judgment right now on it. But it was kind of a interesting gambit that they took. Put it that way.
All righty, last two for the road for you. Haven't had a chance to talk with you since John Sherman met with the media about the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Downtown, North Kansas City downtown. How do you assess kind of the latest when it comes to where this was the strongest he'd ever been about saying we're moving from the K. I will say that. But what's your take then from his press conference about 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think that the east side of downtown, the East Village area, has always been the area that they've targeted. I think that the other exploration of sites, and I'm using air quotes with exploration, I think that that's just been kind of a little bit for show. I think the Royals are losing the PR battle on this badly. The lack of transparency, the lack of just details has been frustrating. I think that the fact that it's taken them so long to decide on a site is frustrating. Just the lack of any concrete detail. It's like, it doesn't help their case, and they need to present a case. And they've been talking about it for a couple of years, and they haven't moved the ball. So it's going to take some work, I think, on their part to repair the PR damage just from lack of information that is coming out from the organization. The one thing that I thought was very smart, and this was the first time that I had heard John Sherman mention this, was he tied it with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody knows, obviously, that if you want to get something done, if you want to get money from voters, you don't go out there as the Kansas City Royals and hold your hand out. You go out there arm in arm with the Kansas City Chiefs and say, hey, we together need some money, because Kansas City, we know, will support the Chiefs. And it would be kind of like it's the right way for them, I think, to go out to ask for public funds. I don't think that again, I'm of the mindset, if you want to build a stadium, do it. Don't ask for the taxpayer to support it. The studies show that the economic impact is not what the teams will present. So fund it yourself. I know that they're talking about funding a lot of it. Again, lack of details. How much are they going to fund? How much money are they asking for specifically? And what is that money going to go to? But coupling themselves with the Chiefs with an ask is a smart move on their part. So that's really kind of what I've seen, the first smart thing that they've done as far as the stadium talk.
All righty, last question. How many losses will the Royals have this year?
Man, I think that it's looking worse, isn't it? I mean, if they trade Barlow, which they need to do, so they're going to decimate the bullpen. The starting pitching continues to be suspect. Already I feel like ahead of the All-Star break, there were a couple of games where they were feeling the loss of Chapman. How many losses overall? I think it's going to be a record. I think you're looking at 110. I think that they're on pace for a little bit more than that right now, but I think it's going to be historic, and it's not going to be a good historic.
Craig, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you here down the line.
All right. Appreciate you guys for having me on today.
That is Craig Brown. Does a fantastic job. Love his insight there from Into the Fountains. Got another little weather update. The severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 2:15 for southeastern Riley, western Shawnee, central of Buncie, eastern Potawatomi, southern Nemaha. 70 mile per hour wind gusts and nickel size hail radar has indicated. This is between mile marker 319 and 349. A severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 2:15. We still have a severe thunderstorm watch going on right now for this area as well. You stay here. We will keep you up to date here on 580 WIBW. Coming up in the 2 o'clock hour, we'll get to more Royals on Second Thought, and we'll talk about Chris Jones and how much money he should make. the final hour of Mic'd Up on this Friday and for this work week. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake and Fulton along with Fulton Caster with you, leading into, yes, Royals baseball. We do have more weather updates for you. It is not going to be maybe a nice evening. That is what I can tell you.
Well, I think it's going to be maybe a mighty fine late evening. Just getting to that point might be really, really awful.
Yes. What do you consider late evening?
Like 7, 8.
That's late?
Beginning late evening.
Beginning late?
Because evening begins at 5.
No.
Evening is 5. Late afternoon is like your 2 to 4 o'clock period.
Wait, no. Late
yeah,
afternoon.
We're late afternoon right now. We're beginning late afternoon.
No, we are smack dab afternoon.
What do you call late evening then?
Late evening's 9.
Okay. When do you say evening starts?
Evening starts at 7.
So 5 to you is late afternoon.
Yes.
Disagree.
You mean you're telling me you work until evening?
Beginning of the evening?
No.
Beginning of the evening is 5 o'clock.
No, you got 3 o'clock is mid-afternoon, 5 o'clock is late afternoon, 6 o'clock is supper. Then you've got 7 is evening.
I can accept this interpretation of the clock.
Okay.
I can accept it. I'm fine with it.
Well,
either way, back to the important stuff.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I'm not a meteorologist. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Jefferson County, northern Shawnee County, southeastern Nemaha County, and Jackson County in northeastern Kansas until 3 p.m. Around 2 o'clock, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 3 miles northeast of Soldier, moving 3 miles southeast of Delia, moving at 35 miles per hour, some gusts as high as 60 miles per hour, and quarter-size hail. Look out if you are in the location of Holton, Valley Falls, Oskaloosa, McLouth, Meriden, Hoyt, Ozaki, Nortonville, Winchester, Mayetta, Whiting, Denison, Delia, Soldier, Perry Lake, and Pottawatomie Reservation. That is until 3 p.m., which is about 51 minutes from now. More than likely, we're going to have another weather update. Looking at the radar, you got some red, you got some yellow, you got all sorts of stuff right now happening just west and north. If you live in St. Mary's, you're getting downpoured. If you are getting to Silver Lake and it is heading what looks like straight west, so north Topeka. But then as I say that, this is where we're going to get more of the warnings coming. Started really just north of Clay Center, and it's moving west, and then there's just an onslaught of stuff coming after it. So yeah, basically until about 8:39, the city of Topeka and North Topeka, you are going to be getting some rain. Yeah, all the way through. It's going to be a very rainy and potential thunderstorm. Hopefully no hail.
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
it looks like by about 7:30, it should all be getting close to at least the backside of Topeka, getting near more the eastern side of the city. So everyone, just if you are at work right now, enjoy hopefully being inside at your job. If it's still going on outside when you go home, like for Jake and I when we leave, it'll probably be pretty stormy outside. Drive safe. Don't be outside if you don't have to be during weather like this.
Yeah, you know, they say what the wire was Omar coming. Yeah, Mother Nature coming, all right?
Yeah.
Mother Nature.
She a coming, and she seems to be a little annoyed today.
It's going to be coming. So we will keep you up to date as best as we can. And if we need to, we'll get our good friend on the air to talk a little weather. So we will keep you up to date. Check us out on our YouTube page. If you missed anything, you can go to our website, 580www.com. Also, hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. We'll get to, on second thought, we'll talk more Chris Jones and what could his contract be. But are you ready for this, Fulton?
Hit me with it.
And I'm not trying to get all existential on you and all that kind of
All
stuff.
right, Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even know if we're going to be here tomorrow.
It's the dinosaurs thought every day until the meteor hit.
Does it really matter if they have a good year? And I'm going to give you, and this is me not being negative. This is just me asking kind of for real, a philosophical question. Okay. As I hear the raindrops now falling on our roof.
Yeah, starting to hear the thunder rolling in.
Last year, Brady Singer was awesome.
He was.
This year, he wasn't.
He's been bad.
Did last year matter? And the reason I bring that up is, you know the old saying, right? I believe in momentum during a game. I truly believe that in every single sport. Football, basketball, soccer. Momentum during a sport, during said game matters. I do believe that.
Fair.
Keep the line moving.
Yeah.
I don't know if I truly believe that strongly in momentum from game to game. And we all know the old adage. Momentum is only as good as your next day's pitcher. Is there momentum from season to season? The Royals, if I'm not mistaken, were okay in September last year. Singer was excellent last year. We were talking about contract extension.
We were. We spent a lot of time on that. Boy, does that look good. They didn't do that now.
So does it matter? Like, does it even matter that, hey, you know what? Bobby Witt got things going here in the second half, which, by the way, he is. He's hitting it well. Since June 1st, Bobby Witt is one of the better hitting shortstop in the game. Over 300 batting average, 360 on base, 900 OPS. The guy is who we thought he would be. He starts the season next year batting 240 for the first 2 months of the season. It ain't gonna matter. Like, do you get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be like super negative Nick here.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, because what you're basically saying is, does raw numbers matter of what the Royals do the second half? Because we've seen, literally in last year to this year, that it doesn't always translate immediately to guaranteed next year's success, i.e. Brady Singer, who had a great last year. His entire season was fantastic last year. And then this year he's kind of fallen off. So to me, the answer is yes and no. In part, you are correct. Raw numbers being great does not indicate necessarily that the Royals all of a sudden will start turning a corner. You know, if all of a sudden starting this weekend, because Brady Singer is going to pitch this weekend, it looks like it's going to be Marsh, Lyles, and Singer. Either Marsh, Lyles, Singer, or Marsh, Singer, Lyles. Either way, those three dudes are pitching against Tampa Bay. If Brady Singer this weekend goes 7 innings, 1 run against Tampa Bay, and goes on a heater and finishes the year on a heater, on the one hand, that will make you feel a level of good. If you're like, all right, maybe he's found something, but it could also just be another short little splash and he's overall bad. That's where I go, it depends on what is getting better. Like, what numbers look like they're getting better. Bobby Witt Jr., like, let's use Bobby Witt Jr. as an example here. Because you made a comment on Bobby, you know, what if he finishes this year hitting as well as he's been, but then maybe he starts out next year flat. It depends on what leads to Bobby playing better. Because what's led to Bobby Witt Jr.'s hot streak right now is a thing to actually get you excited, potentially, long-term. Because Bobby's hitting better, not because just he's hitting the ball mainly over the wall or he's still swinging as much, but stuff's just falling. Bobby Witt Jr. is getting better because Bobby Witt Jr. is making better swing decisions. And that is a thing that can be a long-term carryover. That can be a year-to-year carryover of, if it just looks like it's simply Bobby is getting better because Bobby is swinging at less bad pitches and he's learning how to control his, aggressiveness. That is a positive sign. Like, that is a sign that should make you excited for next year. let's go with Daniel Lynch. If Daniel Lynch finishes this year pitching pretty well, but it's because, but the nerd alert numbers that are, kind of the peripherals, to use a different word, make you go, got a little lucky. Maybe his FIP, which is in short terms, an ERA system based on what you control, based on walks, strikeouts, and home runs, eliminates your defense. It's literally just, what did you do as a pitcher? If his ERA looks good, but his FIP's really high, or his strikeout rate isn't sustainable.
You want a low FIP, by the way.
Your FIP should always be lower than your ERA.
Yeah.
If it's higher than if they're close to each other, either higher or lower, you're pretty fine. If there's a big difference, then you have, a bunch of different issues and things like that. So if Daniel Lynch's, raw numbers look good, but his peripherals look bad, then you should be concerned for next year, because you go, another good example, Nicky Lopez's 300 season. We were like, oh, Nicky at 300. All right, we got ourselves a middle infielder right there. Every peripheral number told you that was the luckiest 300 season ever. And what happened? The luck evened out, and Nicky's more normal, more what we, assumed he would be. So that's where I have to say yes and no to, does it matter if they play better? Because it matters what it means that they're playing better. If it looks like if the numbers that stabilize for long-term success are better, then yes, be excited. If Daniel Lynch's ERA is like 4.95, but his FIP is like 3.20, be excited, because it means Daniel Lynch was a victim of bad defense. Like, that's part of what that means. And, maybe his strikeout numbers go up, his walk numbers stay low, he's going, 6 innings, he's being efficient with the pitch count. Those things should make you excited or interested, because those are long-term success indicators. And that's where I kind of go, and I know this kind of gets into kind of an analytics weeds deep kind of thing, but that's where you have to be, in my opinion, evaluating a team in general, because it's like I've always said, all wins are not created equal. On the front of it, yes, you want more wins than losses, of course. The Royals winning 75 games this year would be immensely more fun than winning 45, because they're going to win like 45 and it's going to suck. But if you win 75 games because your rookies all suck, but your 35-year-old veterans all play well, what that tells me is that long-term, you're still screwed. Like, cool, it was awesome in the short term. Long-term, you're screwed. But if you win 65 games because your veterans stunk up the building, but your 23-year-olds were on fire, well, then long-term, you should be fine. So that's where, again, it's kind of a yes and a no. But if the long-term numbers that look good do look good for some of these guys moving forward, then yes, it is important what they do in the second half.
You are correct, as we've got more warnings coming in when you hear that loud buzzing sound. You are correct on a very in-depth level. I agree with you 1,000%. Well done.
That's the annoying part, is that's the in-depth level.
Yeah. You ready? It doesn't matter. And the reason why is it doesn't matter until you actually start winning.
And that's fair.
And I'm not talking about winning this year. This year is done. Their season is, we just had Craig Brown on. They're going to lose 110 games. Great. You won a whole bunch of games at the end of the year that didn't mean anything. Because next year, unless you start out well, nobody's going to watch. Nobody's going to care. Now, people will be invested early on because it's baseball, opening day, new beginnings. We're going to talk.
Hope springs eternal.
We're going to talk about, well, if this work, then the Royals are going to be competitive. Well, until it actually comes, I told you, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm 39 now, a little older, or I've been beat down, right? It's the scar tissue. I need my Patrick Mahomes, right? The Chiefs in the playoffs, right? Oh gosh, oh geez, oh whoa. That was scar tissue. That was buildup. You got to get rid of that, right? You got to get one of them rollers and roll it out, and and stretch it out when you get tight, right? No, that was BM before Mahomes. We are now AM. We're after Mahomes. We're CM, current Mahomes. Okay. I always say Chiefs fans have their doom and gloom. I get it. It's earned. The Royals right now, I'm not gonna. It's almost as if they did. They beat me down. I'm down, and until they actually can win, on the grand scheme of it, and that seems real dark on July 14th. As the thunder hits.
I like that Mother Nature is giving us background track.
When I said it's it is dark, and I get it, but I agree with you. I think both are true. I think for the generic fan who right now is not watching the Royals, none of it matters the rest of the year, because on Monday, the Chiefs are going to gear up. We're going to hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes on Tuesday, and it's football season. KU football is back. K-State football is back. KU basketball has a whole brand new team, and they're going to be awesome. K-State basketball, Jerome Tang and the Tang gang, when that Tang day is rolling. And then March rolls around, people get excited because it's the thing that's current. And if they start 3-12 again, then nobody's going to care anymore. That's what stinks right now. Now, there is one way that you will get me excited for the upcoming season. All right. I've been all doom and gloom. Now it's time to be an optimistic opal here.
Okay.
If guys on the team right now who are not on, if they find more younger guys, like you trade the Barlows and you trade those guys and some young pitchers come up and they start looking good, that's at least new guys. I can get on board with that, because then I've said this I need to know you can do it. If you can do it, then can you do it consistently? It's kind of like you lose big, you lose small, you win small, you win big, and then you win Mahomes. Right now, I know Bobby Witt can do it. Can he do it consistent?
Yeah.
MJ, I know he can do it. He had 18 homers last year. Can he do it consistent?
Mm-hmm.
Vinny can do it. Can he do it consistent? Garcia, he's almost there. Can he do it consistent? But then can you bring somebody else up? And then, you ready? This goes, open up the checkbook. We say this all the time, you got to spend money on good quality workers. Well, guess what? Same for baseball. Now, I'm not going out there and saying, well, give so-and-so. I'm not saying go get Shohei Ohtani. I mean, I am. Go get
Though
Shohei
you should
Ohtani.
try. Every single team in Major League Baseball should send him a contract offer.
But if there's a guy out there who, and I'm not talking about Jordan Lyles. I'm talking about be a little bit smart. If you want to trade somebody, do that. That'll be the difference.
Yeah.
Show me guys who have proven records that they could have gone out this last year and got Nick Castellanos.
They could have.
Is Nick Castellanos better than what the Royals currently have? Well,
yes and no.
But I that was just an name because I know he was a free agent.
There's things you could do, and I've said this numerous times. John Sherman needs to go get 2 veteran starting pitchers this offseason. Both in the context of if he wants his stadium, that's what he needs to do. But also it stabilizes you for the short term. It puts less pressure on your young pitchers. If you could sign 2 veteran pitchers to 4-year contracts, their first 2 years in Kansas City on those contracts, you might still and probably will still be a not great team, but it gives you pillars to build off of, and you find things to complement it. It's like I've said, show me some commitment, show me some desire to invest in this team, and hopefully that we see that from John Sherman this offseason.
Trying to look up free agents.
Oh, I've gone at length about this. My number 1 draft pick for the Royals need to go spend some money on him is go throw a contract at Aaron Nola.
Yeah,
go throw a contract at Aaron Nola. Go try and sign him. But your starting pitchers, as I get this kind of pulled up here, just to remind myself. But you don't need Julio Urias. But Julio Urias is a free agent. He's going to cost a lot of money. Go get him though. Go sign Martin Perez. He'll be an undrafted free agent. He'll be a little bit older, so a little bit cheaper. He'll be 33. But you get Martin Perez. If Eduardo Rodriguez opts out of his deal with the Tigers, go get Eduardo Rodriguez.
we know how good he is.
If Sean Manaea doesn't pick up his player option with San Francisco, go get bring back Sean Manaea. Sign Alex Wood as the veteran, free agent. Go get Lucas Giolito. Go get Sonny Gray. Go get Blake Snell. Go get Luis Severino. Go get Alex Cobb if the club declines his option. Like, go get Jordan Montgomery. None of these guys are, outside of maybe Julio Arias, are change the projection of your long-term club guys because they're all older on the other side of 30. But all of them are guys that I would say, give him 4 years. I'm cool with it. And for the first part, he's going to be a big member of the rotation. And then later on, he's probably at worst your Jeremy Guthrie, which is a competent number 5 starter who you can go, it might not be pretty, but he's going to keep me in the game every 5th day.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Go do it.
I got some more updates from Mother Nature. The National Weather Service in Topeka has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Jefferson County, Shawnee County, and Douglas County, east central Wabaunsee, and northern Osage County until 3. This is located over Willard, moving at 35 miles per hour. Locations include Topeka, Lawrence, Baldwin City, Carbondale, Rossville, Tecumseh, Eudora, Richland, Dover, Silver Lake, Auburn, Overbrook. That is not in the correct order. Scranton, Lecompton, Perry. They go Lecompton, Maple Hill, Clinton. I mean, can we get it like in Oregon? Lone Star, Willard. Mile markers 340 and 355, so just west of Topeka, and then Turnpike mile markers 160 to 205. This is until 3 p.m. Also at 2:19. So about 10 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm warning was issued for Osage County, Lyon County, Wabaunsee County, and Shawnee County, located 5 miles west of Harveyville. So we got a couple of storms heading our way. It is 60 mile per hour gust, quarter size hail. You need to look out for if you are in Eskridge, Burlingame, or Harveyville. Basically, if you are in Topeka and the surrounding area of Topeka, you got some stuff coming, all right? Let's just put it like it is. There's giant red coming down the way right around Topeka and north of Topeka, and it is also headed from the west. That is happening. So there's really kind of two cells that are going on right now, as the rain has definitely picked up here. Give you an update. That is what is currently happening right now. No severe thunderstorm warnings. That's important. Right now, though, no tornado activity. And yeah, this is the start of when it's going to be a long evening. So till about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. But yes, from the west and from the north is where this cell is coming from. And it is now approaching Topeka, and it will be here for a little bit. And then there's a second storm approaching from the southeast that will be coming around 3:30, it looks like. We might get a little bit of a break in between 3:30 and 4 from this two bands of thunderstorms here in the capital city area. So right now, the thunderstorm that is heading north and west of us, but we got another one coming up the path. So this has been Weather Talk, and there will be more Weather Talk going forward. Let us know. Hit us up on our text line. Do you have any hail right now? That's the main thing, right? Hail. We don't like hail. Hail and thunder.
No one likes hail.
Hail and tornadoes. That's the main factor here, is hail and tornadoes. So we'll get a quick timeout. And I believe we're sending it to the big dogs. We're gonna send it to the weather experts, because I am not a meteorologist.
No, you're not.
So we are going to take a quick timeout. I don't know if we're going to be back or not. I really don't. We might be sending it to the weather service and our weather expert, Britt Swigert. I have no idea. But that's what live radio is all about.
Yeah, it is.
In the Perry-Lecompton area, just to let everybody know. So it actually it ratcheted up a little bit. We've got a little bit more severe weather than we thought. We are going to go to our chief meteorologist. We are going to try to get Jennifer Naramore on to talk about what is going to be happening in this area, as we do have much more severe weather. Looking at the radar map, there is a little hook formation happening around the Perry and the Oskaloosa area. So keep in mind, this storm does have the qualities of producing a tornado now, according to the National Weather Service, as they have issued a tornado warning that will be in effect for the Perry and that area. Along just north of I-70 and Highway 24, just past Meriden. Does look like there could be some tornadic activity. We will get to the most updated and reliable information when we get our weather center and Jennifer Naramore hooked up when we can, because this is turned into a little bit more of a situation than it maybe wasn't originally thought of. So when we get to that, we'll get you more information. Let us know if there's any hail in your area. Shoot us a text on our text line from the 785. 29th in California, debris and limbs are down on the eastern side of Topeka near California and 29th. So the Chipotle that's going in there, that's right around that. I know that. So this is a little bit more of a severe thunderstorm warning. It looks as though there's two different thunderstorms that are going to be coming to this area. One is going to pass here in a little bit, but then it will build back a little bit further from the west, and we should get a little bit more rain, but hopefully not as much severe weather for the Topeka area. That is kind of the hope. It does look like it is moving from the the northwest to the southeast, and it will go pretty quickly. The storm is moving by at about 35 miles per hour. That is something that will move by pretty quickly. So right now, the first wave of thunderstorms and potential tornadic activity going through the Topeka area, North Topeka, all the way up to Holton and even to Oskaloosa. And that is where the tornado warning was issued, just north of I-70 before you get to Lawrence. The Perry area all the way up to Oskaloosa is something that we need to keep track of. So that is some of the news that we will try to keep you up to date as best as we can. So that is my on second thought. I'm bad at 1,000 this week. up until the very end when I was like, yeah, there's going to be no tornadic activity. No, apparently there is. So that is something to keep in mind. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 3 o'clock for most of these counties around Topeka: Jefferson, Shawnee, Douglas, East Central Wabaunsee, and Northern Osage. So that was going to go until 3 o'clock until we get a new warning. Let's throw it to Jennifer Naramore for the Weather Center. What's going on right now? Sure is getting down on Friday. I can tell you that. There's some video right outside of our studios of our lamp post just swaying.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if you
really
know,
bad out there.
I don't know if you know, but lamp posts that are made of metal
Shouldn't do that.
buried in concrete
Shouldn't sway.
shouldn't sway a whole lot. Not gonna lie to you, some existing force is causing that.
Yeah, that's just our general reminder. We'll keep you abreast as many warnings and everything that's coming out as it comes here on 580 WIBW. Jake's done just a great job playing amateur meteorologist. If we need to, Jennifer Nairmore might come back in. Dan Lucero during 580 Sports Talk will have you covered. So in between all of our normal sports talk action today, we will also have you covered as Mother Nature has gotten really angry for a little bit. But yeah, it is Dan on his Twitter has taken a couple videos for us. It is sideways raining up here on Huntington Hill. Like it is. So I will just use my general thing here. I will use my kind of general wording of advice. If you don't need to be outside right now, don't be outside right now. Just hunker down wherever you are. Stay dry. Stay safe. I know most of you are at work right now.
By the way, hunker is a great word. Hunker down.
It's a great word for what's happening right now, especially.
Yeah. Or
just
you could just chill, you know, Netflix and chill tonight, everybody.
Hey, yeah, seriously, just Between now and 7 p.m., if you do not have to leave where you are, don't leave. And if you do have to leave, be as safe as humanly possible.
Yeah.
This is one of those times where don't mess around. Don't go for a pleasure drive. I used to work at a gas station, as has been documented before I started work here.
You've had many a job.
I have had many a job.
Baker.
Meat clerk.
Yeah.
That was the thing I did a bunch of times. This is not the time to make your 7-Eleven run for a Slurpee. And I tell you that because I had a lot of people with bad weather make a run to the gas station for a Slurpee. And I'm just like, no, go home. Be safe. All of you, please be safe out there. Yes, it's a terrible time for a Slurpee right now. Be safe. I ask all of you,
also,
please be safe.
If you're going to drive right now, make sure your lights are on.
Yes, that too.
Make sure your lights are on. That's another thing. So we will keep you up to date on all of this. All right. The biggest news is that Chris Jones can get his contract signed now because Quinnen Williams signed a 4-year, $94 million deal. So Chris Jones, here, the deal. 4 years, $100 million, $70 million guaranteed. That's the lowest. 4 years, $120, $80 million guaranteed. That's the highest. Pick a number in the middle, you two. Pick a number in the middle. That's what I want.
Seriously,
pick
yes.
a number
just pick something in the middle.
Pick it. 3 years, $70 million guaranteed. I mean, it's that simple. How you want to structure the cap, whatever. It's not difficult. So 3 years 3 years at $80 million. Let's give him $80 million guaranteed. $26 million a year. I just solved the cap issues. That's what you're going to get. Give him 4 years so you can spread out the cap over 4 years, make a little dead money in the last year. So it's a 3-year deal, which means he'll play at 29, 30, and 31. And then you move on. Then you say, Chris, thank you for the 3 Super Bowls that you helped us win, because the Chiefs hopefully win 1 in the next 3. And we all go forward. He becomes
that'd be really nice.
The second greatest defensive player in. Well, now we're getting, about Bobby Bell and Willie Lanier and Buck Buchanan, along with Derek Thomas. But
we're getting into a conversation that is going to have to happen at some point, but it's going to be frustrating when we have to have the conversation.
So that's what needs to happen. It's when we come on the show Monday, does he have a deal done?
I think so.
Really?
I'm going to be optimistic opal here, to use your phrase.
I couldn't think of another name.
I can't. I mean, optimistic Oscar, optimistic.
Ooh, Oscar's a good one. We can't go Olivia.
Optimist. Yeah, not really. Optimistic. Orenthal. Optimistic Orville. Orville Redenbacher. Either way, beyond that point.
Yeah, good popcorn.
Great popcorn. No, because I think this framework is so simple. I think what they have left to do is seriously, literally just dot some I's and cross some T's, because I think they both understand between 25 to 28 is the number. And I think Chris Jones has seen and knows if he's going over what the Chiefs are drawing their line at, well, he knows there's no reason to keep talking. So I just think that's where we're at, and I think that's where things are going to kind of turn and change a little bit. So I'll be optimistic and say, by Monday when we come on the air, maybe there's a deal done.
I think there'll be a deal done by a week from today.
Before Veterans Hatch report,
I think
there will be.
I think there'll be a deal done by Friday. At this time Friday, Chris Jones will have a contract extension. A week from today, that will end up happening. I feel pretty good about that.
I would too.
Then after that, okay, let's say that's done.
Mm-hmm.
Then the question: what happens with DeAndre Hopkins?
He was commenting on Chris Jones's Instagram.
He said, boy, you look good.
This is the worst time of year. This is the worst time of year.
He looks good. Do you think that they text each other and be like, yo, man, let's just put some stuff out there to make people talk?
I don't know if they do that, but they know what they're doing when they do this. All athletes
all
do.
All right, you ready? They're all together, they're on the couch, laying back, and then DeAndre Hopkins looks to, I don't know, somebody who's with him and goes, "Ready, check this out, man. Let's fire
Let's stir
it up.
the pot.
Let's fire it up real quick. Let's make something happen." Hey, Stone Cold, looking good, bud. Hands emojis, and then Stone Cold gives him the fist bump emoji and the fingers crossed emoji.
Yeah.
Are they just doing it just to
It's both. Like, I think they're so legitimate. They respect each other. I think they do want to play with each other if it could work out. Every athlete knows that when they do this, there's part of them that has to know they're doing it to stir the pot a little bit. Because they know every little comment that they make is going to be scrutinized. Like, DeAndre Hopkins know any interaction he has with any of his football friends right now, any of the active players he's friends with, is going to be scrutinized under a microscope of, is that a sign of where he wants to go play? Is that what he wants to go do? Which we all know DeAndre Hopkins would want to go play in Kansas City. He has as much said so. Like, that part isn't new. And so I am fascinated to see if Chris Jones gets the contract extension done, if the cap hit looks like where the Chiefs want it to be. Does that also lead to DeAndre Hopkins signing in Kansas City? I am intrigued.
All right. We'll get a quick timeout. Coming up next, we'll wrap up this edition of Mic'd Up. It is time for the mic drop here as we got severe weather rolling around the capital city and the surrounding counties. We'll
just
keep you
blown
updated.
around.
We'll keep you updated.
Dan will definitely have you coming up on 5A Sports Talk.
Yeah, we're going to hand the baton off.
It's on to him.
Hand the weather radio off.
You know, I'll pass this literal specific weather radio to my right to him because it'll be in the same room as he is.
That's very loud and goes.
It does.
Neater,
It
neater.
likes to be very angry. My mic drop, Jake, is very similar. So I'm going to wrap it up with my on second thought because I didn't get to do that because we were dealing with the weather stuff. Adley Rutschman in the home run derby was awesome because he hit from both sides of the plate.
That was pretty sweet.
And I thought he was going to do nothing. I didn't think he had any power at all. And honestly, I'm sad he didn't win the whole thing because what he did was so cool. So, Adley Rutschman, you are awesome, and I now thoroughly enjoy you even more as a player, and hope I get to see Adley Rutschman in the home run derby again.
That was a boss move, flipping over to the other
Yeah,
side.
that was cool.
The only way it would have been cooler is if he did it in between pitches.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, though. And also, you're wasting some time at that point.
That's all right.
Can't waste time on the clock.
That'll do it for this edition of Mic'd Up. We will talk to you on Monday. Hopefully, Chris Jones has a contract extension. 580 Sports Talk coming up next here on the Sports Voice of Kansas.